Hey guys, it's Holly from Hunter Ryan. Welcome to my new Sunday chat group. Um, it will become a panel discussion. The, so far, the panel discussees have not shown up. We're a couple minutes early, but I just want to kind of do the introduction real quick as people come in. I won't be doing hi's, hello, how are yous. You can chat in the chat. The main thing is let's talk about what our plans are for next week. Hi, Barbara. I sent, Barbara, you've got the link to be on the panel in our messaging if you want to jump onto the panel. I don't know if you got your computer yet. Basically, we want this to be an actual discussion, not just hi, hellos, and how are yous, and all that going on. What are your plans for this upcoming week? What did you do in the last week? Where do you find problems? Let's brainstorm with each other. Barbara is getting ready right now. Let's brainstorm like solutions, or if somebody comes up with a problem that they've been having, you know, post some ideas that you might have or things that you've done in the past. The most important part of this is that by discussing what we're actually doing and where we're being successful and where we're failing, it'll actually help us help each other more. There's so many times that I look at, hey Lindsay, if you want to join the chat as a speaker, I can send you a link. Otherwise, just start throwing some stuff into the chat there so that we can discuss. Barbara and I are both in a group called Death Pile Destruction, and part of that is, and then I'm also in a challenge group for Death to the Death Pile. So both of those groups are really important because you are bouncing ideas off of each other, you're supporting each other, you're engaging each other as people post about their wins or their losses. Like I said, you get ideas on what you can do to help each other, how we can do things, and I really want it to be that. Like, let's talk about what are our goals going to be for the next week coming up. What did you do last week? Where are your pitfalls? So I'll start on pitfalls. Lindsay, I'm gonna send you a quick message before I start on pitfalls. Sorry, guys. One of the biggest things I have is like I go in, I make this big, huge schedule up, and then something comes up that I want to do that like now it's like, okay, tomorrow I need to do this instead. And now everything that was on my list of stuff that I was gonna do is now gone. So it's like trying to figure out, because I think what I started thinking about doing today is like writing down like a weekly list. This is, and I actually got a book called Get It Done or Get Shit Together, and it actually does have like a weekly plan thing, and it's like your weekly goals and then stuff that has to be done, and then at the end of the week you do like what you're proud of yourself about, and then you have your daily thing, and it's, you know, even got your drink and your water. This is tea though. Which goes, okay, Barbara's in here, hold on. Add to stream. All right, Barbara, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, you talk for a second so I can send Lindsay the link. Like, where are you at this week?
Well, as you can see with the death pile behind me, you got that one there,
Hold on, I got
right
it.
there, and then if we let's see, look on the other side, you can see the hats.
Oh my gosh,
And of course, I have my piles of jewelry that I'm still working on.
sir.
Um,
Oh yeah, how much story is coming out this week?
I actually haven't listed very much this week, so I'll have to kick butt and list. I listed like 14 the other day, but I have not listed anything so far yet this week. But I did get, because February was I could purchase some things. March, I'm going back to no purchasing again. But I received this lovely packet from ThreadUp. They're
Ah,
15-piece jewelry, and it is probably um, not the best monetarily wise, but the best as in every item is a brand name,
oh good. That's all right.
including 5 Kendra Scotts.
Oh, okay. I've got a couple of those too. I did like when we were talking about doing like a live sale before. I did actually start putting some more jewelry onto hangers because I thought that's like another way too to do your death pile is if you've got stuff set up for the next week and then you do a live sale, you may sell some of that stuff and then not have to photograph it for
Oh,
the
there is
next
that
week,
too.
so that might be one way too. And it then lets people know what should be getting listed that week. Because I know, like for me especially, when I would do um unboxings, I'm pulling stuff out now. Like I'm resorting stuff that I've gotten from ThreadUp boxes last year. And if people were just looking at my unboxings, wanting to know about getting something, I wouldn't have any idea. It's like it's in a bin somewhere,
Yeah.
where, and I don't know when it's going to get listed. So I think, like, for me, that was like one of the goals that I wanted to do is get back into pulling, at least 35 items. That's 5 items a day. Pull 35 things and photograph, and I want to photograph that for a week to do it out. But like if you're doing a live sale, then you can do a bunch of like little things,
Yes.
like jewelry and stuff is really easy to do. And then that way you've already done your research. So you're ready for writing the listing. You're cutting out the actually having to type up the listing, and you've cut out having to do the photos, which is good saving, time saving, but you've got your time yet. Um, Lindsay says that her Kendra pieces have been sitting, but in the past week she sold a bracelet for 75 and some earrings on eBay for 45. Cool.
Yes.
Um,
I've been selling a lot of jewelry, but then again, I've been posting, listing a lot of jewelry.
yeah.
My thing is, I will the day before I'm going to do something, I pull, list. I'll pull a bunch of things, at least 15. I try to do 15. It depends on how my back feels, and
Yeah.
um, you know, I do have to work.
Yeah.
They require I pay my mortgage. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Um, so on that aspect, I pull the stuff ahead of time. So I have well, here's my jewelry that I'm gonna list. There's about 15 pieces, give or take, in here. Um, and then on my racks that you can see right here, once I my big box, which you can see right there, is blocked by my little box, which is right there.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm trying to get the little stuff because I can do the little stuff really fast because I can sit in my chair and work. Like I have one computer here and one computer here. So this computer over here is my work computer, and this computer is my personal computer. So I can do, two things at once, and I can swivel around and be able to take a bunch of photographs, and then without, then my back doesn't bother me because I've been having a lot of back issues lately. if I lost a little weight, it would help. But hey, if it was easy to lose weight, nobody would be overweight. Um,
Well,
so
anybody interested, I've started Plexus, so hit me up if you're
yeah,
interested.
so I do the photographs and then I list. So I've been doing small, so like jewelry, shoes, any socks, whatever small things.
Yeah,
I bought a bunch of fun boxes and stuff, which I should be listing some of the stuff I have, but I've listed most of my smalls.
yeah.
So basically, it's I have shoes that I do have to list, but that is, it's like it's like these. Okay, they're wrong way. There
Oh,
we
they're
go.
cute. What are
They're a
they?
good brand.
Oh, Allegra. I've sold those for really
Yeah,
good.
the only problem is it says sample.
That's
There's
not
no
always
size.
a bad one. Measure the instep. Like
There
you
is no size whatsoever anywhere, so I'll have to measure it. But I think they're like a size 5, maybe 5.5. They're very small, but I mean, like they were $12.99. I haven't got the rest of it off yet, as you can see. But it's a new. I got a new computer. I can't quite figure out where the camera is. So they don't even look like they've been
anyway,
worn. There's hardly any wear to them at all. I don't. Like
great.
maybe around the house the most.
Mm-hmm.
But these sell good. They'll sell between $28 and $32.
Yeah, I did a like a patent. What was that face for?
I just dropped the
Uh,
shoe on the
um,
computer.
I had a pair of. Is it Allegra? Is that how you say the name? I had a thing of Allegras that were patent leather, floral, like a garden print.
Yep, those sell good.
Those I think I sold those for like 50.
Well, it
Maybe
depends on
60.
certain ones sell for more.
Yeah, they were Mary Jane's too. I think Mary Jane's usually
Yes,
do
they
better.
do better
Wow.
than the I don't know. Do you call them clogs? I mean, they're not technically a
They're
clog
clogs.
because they have a back. They're more of like a loafer, but I always listen as
No,
clogs
they're
because anybody who's
clogs.
going to buy them is
Mules
going to.
don't have the back. Mules don't have a back. Clogs have a back.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Well,
But I put them in clogs anyways because that's where everybody puts them.
Well, that's what I always thought.
Yeah,
I thought
so
mules didn't have the back.
so my goal is there's Michelle Thornburg. Death
Yeah,
Pile
from Death
Destruction is
Pile
the best group ever.
Destruction. Michelle, just so you know, we still have openings for the panelists, and the link for that is in the Death Pile Destruction group. So if you want to join in on the discussion part up here, you can do that too.
Yes, so my death pile is quite large. I'm sure it's not as large as other people's, but it's probably good 500 to 750 pieces. I know that's what you have in one room. I know.
No, that's what I have in like 2 bins.
I know, but I because I do list. I mean, I do list because I do sell. Right now. I bought a car, so now I have to list and make money to pay for my car because that money that I sell goes to the car payment. So I have to make sure I'm always listing and selling type of thing. I also I sort of am trying to do my average, like I'm trying to figure out I sell between 30 to 50 pieces in a week. It all depends because I've been doing a lot of bundles. So yeah, I may only have 16 sales, but there are multiple bundles in there.
Right.
So I've been doing well with that, and I've been lowering the prices just to get the stuff out. And then forcing myself to list at least as many as what I'm selling.
Now, are you cross listing too?
No, I do not cross list.
Okay, so you're doing everything on Poshmark. That's really good. I haven't gotten back up to where I was because I shut everything completely down, and then I was adding everything. I'm back up to 1,124 active listings.
I'm like at almost 1,500.
Yeah. So once I get up there, you
get the sales,
every single day. I mean, I get a sale at least every day, but when I was up in the 1,500, 1,000, I think the highest I ever got was like 1,700. But like when I was in that range, then I started being like you, at least 2, maybe 3 sales a day.
Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes well, there's days where I actually don't have any sales, and then there's days where I'll have 10 sales.
But it averages.
Yeah, my average. There's some days like literally there'll be no sales. But I
Yeah.
try to do offers to likers or it like you guys like to do the closet closeouts. I'm not big on closet closeouts, but I try to do those on Friday morning because people get their paycheck and then they're more likely to buy and they have all the way to Saturday morning to purchase it.
Yeah. I do. So I stopped doing closet closeout like every time because it's getting ludicrous. They have it every Friday and Sunday.
Yeah,
And
there's no point in it.
it's ridiculous. And the thing is too that it's mainly to make you drop your price again.
Correct.
Because you got to drop it at least 10% for the first closet clear out. Then you've got to drop it for is Saturday usually a make a deal day?
I can't remember. I don't follow most of it.
Yeah, if they
I
do,
I don't do it. As you know,
if
I
they
don't
do,
I don't share anything either.
well, no, you know what? I think Saturday is listing challenge because that does not get you ready.
That's just I just think it's a waste.
Yeah. Well, what I do is one day a month, one of the closet clear outs a month, I will do like a 30% on stuff that's sat for a while. Like I'll go through and like
Yeah,
select
anything's been
things.
there over a year type of thing.
Yeah, and I'll do a 30% on those days, sending out the message to people, hey, you know, you've liked this. If you want to get it, now's the time to do it. Let me know that you're gonna buy it, and I'll drop the price 30%. Da da da. The one thing that I saw too on someone else mentioned that if you have a MacBook computer, if you go into that section where you can send a message to all your buyers,
Mm-hmm.
if you hold down the shift, I think it is, and then click one of the buttons, it'll select all of them. So you would like open it up. You got to go through and scroll everything up, right? Because it's only going to load like so many at first.
Yeah.
Just keep going until, really far back is all loaded. If you have a Mac, and it's got to be the computer because I tried it on my iPad and it didn't work. So on the computer, you then hold down the shift and click on the button, and everything that you've loaded
That would be nice.
will
It's a pain to go
select.
through.
And yeah, that's like almost worth buying
Yeah.
a Mac.
For me, I do share more now than I did before because it's easier to share now. But I like, the 10 o'clock share, I'll share like the first few things in my closet. If they have a shoe or jewelry sale, then I'll do all my shoes and all my jewelry because
Okay,
those are my
yeah,
two
'cause you
best
have a lot.
sellers. But the rest of them, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe not. I'm not a big sharer. I don't share multiple times a day. I don't even share sometimes. Like I didn't share anything today, but yet I got 2 sales.
Yeah, and I actually pay for a program like a Google extension, and mainly because of my disability, sometimes my nerves in my hands, I can't even click on it anyway. So, but I I run that if I'm in the room kind of thing. So I'm not using it like some people will like set it up to do it.
Yeah,
I don't
automatically.
do that.
No, I
Because
don't.
like right now my goal is like what this discussion is about is it's death pile. I've got so much stuff. I I was gonna try and like actually bring up some of the stuff that I found yesterday as I started going through the big bins that I'm making sure are set. Because the other thing too, just a tip, guys, if you're using like I have underneath my house is where I have my 2 large rooms at, and one of them the cement was painted, and it, like, by putting my bins directly on the floor, it makes that sweat between the plastic and
Yep.
the thing. So it's like stinky. So I'm having to pull everything out of there and make sure that I have everything at least on some kind of platform. But so as I'm going through all these bins, I've pulled out a Masani sweater,
Oh,
Mother
yeah.
James, DVF. I'm just like, as I'm pulling these things out, I'm just like, I can't wait to show people what I have pulled out of just this one or two bins that I started
Oh,
going through.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's gonna have everybody like Donald, what's his name? Donald ducking into
No, Mick
the
Duck.
yeah, but didn't Donald Duck like dive into
No,
his
it's McDuck.
Stooge McDuck? Well, Stooge McDuck is the one who has the big vault. But yeah, I mean, you just like dive right in there
Oh,
and
yeah,
start pulling stuff out.
that's yeah, so that's the thing, like, when I was going through stuff, I found a pair of Fendi shoes, and I was like, "Why the hell didn't I list those?" Like, right away. Like, I found a McClare, vest. Why didn't I list that right away? What am I
I have
waiting
a
for?
pair of YSL heels.
I know. So, I
It's like, why is this not listed?
so I've been so my goal is to have, a no sourcing March. So I'm forced to do whatever I have. Now, believe me, I
Okay.
got plenty. I could do a
Yeah.
whole, like, sourcing for the whole year. Um, the other thing I've been finding is, I personally bring things to the consignment shop also. That's the only, like, I do have an eBay account and I have a couple things on it, but I don't have, by no means do I have a ton of stuff on it. But I do bring things to the consignment shop. So then I put them on, Poshmark as not for sale, and then I forget about it. And when I get them back, and then I never put them back on. So it sits in my death pile when all I have to do is just put it back for sale and it would just go
Right.
back. So that's another issue I'm having. Um, as most people, I have more fun, buying than I do, you know, listing. I don't mind, like, I just need a lot of times I call up my best friend and I got her into Poshmark too. I'm
You're
bad.
welcome.
I'm
I see. I'm
like,
there.
so we do a lot of ThredUp boxes together. So we'll buy as many as we can between the two of us, and then we open them together, and then we try to list. But if I'm on the phone with somebody, and I'll have the phone in
Yeah.
my hands and on speaker and be, taking pictures at the same time, and
Yeah.
I'll list. If I can do that, I find I'm more productive than by myself, because if I turn like a video on, even if it's like I've been watching these, like, am I the asshole videos, like Reddit videos type of thing,
Yeah.
and the problem is I turn to read the words. They're talking. I don't even need to
Yeah.
see it. But it's that psychological thing that I need. It's a video. I need to see it.
Okay.
So for me, it's not a good thing. So I find if I
How
talk,
about music?
um, I'm not a big music person. Um, I'm really not. I'm just, if it's on, it's on. If it's not, it's not. So for me, it makes no difference. But I think that if I talk to someone, I'm more likely to list than I am not. So that's my goal. I'll talk to somebody, and it doesn't have to be her to talk to. That could be anybody I'm talking on the phone. I'll just take pictures as I do it. For whatever reason, I seem to find that works for me. I think everybody has to find what works for them to get stuff listed.
Yeah.
Um,
For me,
so
I mean, I get the whole. What's really stupid for me is I started doing Netflix. Like I would just I was like marathoning things while I worked in my listing room, and sometimes I'm hard of hearing, so I really don't understand what they're saying anyway. So I did like the same thing. I turned on subtitles, and so I would like, keep looking and to read the subtitle because I
and you
couldn't
get nothing
understand what they
done.
were saying. But then I started watching the best one was yesterday. I started watching this one series, Barbarians, and like so much of it is in German, like old Germanic, not even like German, like old Norse Germanic type of thing, and Roman, so Latin really. And so then they're like speaking the foreign language, so you have to read the subtitles. And so I just kind of let it. I'm fine too with letting stuff just be background noise for me and not having to watch it. Um, so it's funny because for like a lot of the stuff I had no clue what happened in the movie, because it's like in at least for the German parts I understood enough of it to kind of get what was going on, but then for the Latin stuff I'm just like I have no clue what the hell they're saying. So,
Now, see, I found that that's the best choice for me. I think it's an individual thing. You need to decide what works for you and then stick with it. The other thing I do is, because I have back issues, so I find that the easiest thing for me to do, if I'm not working in my small box, if I'm working in my big box, I'll take photos of 5 things, and then I'll sit down, list those 5 things. That way my back takes a break for the listing time, and then I go back up and list 5 more, sit back down for the 5. And I can usually, my back doesn't ache as much. I find that if I stand up for too long, my back just starts to ache. I can walk, I just can't stand.
Yeah, for me, like standing, it depends with standing. I mean, I can go longer standing than sitting. Like right now, the sitting, this at least, it's like kind of got a roundedness to it because it's like a papasan chair. So my harder situations is I actually had to get like Cossack. I have Cossack pillows now all over the house, because that way it's not. That was like my biggest thing, is the Cossacks getting pushed. And that was one part too in me listing, is that if I would spend one day just taking a whole bunch of pictures or doing a bunch of prep or doing measurements and stuff like that, then I would be down for a couple days.
Yeah, see,
and I would just use that as the excuse of, oh well, at least I took pictures, so I can just list this stuff now. And so I would let it string out, and I wouldn't be putting anything in the hopper. It's like when I used to do sales, like a big thing about sales is that you always have to be stuffing stuff in. It's like a pipe, this end is this big, and then you got this one little spigot down here that your actual cells are coming out. So it's the same thing with listing. You need to be filling up this much so that down the line you can get these cells coming out. So if you're not setting yourself up so that you have more than just, okay, I'm going to take some pictures for just this week and not have anything to tide me up. I'm not setting up my next round. It's like I'm just doing this right now, and then I'm down, so I can't do anything to prep for the next photo.
For me, I don't do a lot of prepping. I just don't do it. I'll wipe down the shoes. I do clean the silver, because when you have it really, tarnished, it won't sell as well as if it's nice and shiny. Because you're not losing any value in the tarnish of silver. You're selling jewelry. It has to be shiny. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But other than that, for clothes, I don't steam them unless they're like excessively, wrinkly. I'll just take pictures of them. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm the same. If it's not like linen stuff like that, you have to steam usually.
No, I don't even steam. I don't even care, because my object is to get it up there. If they want to see what it looks like pretty, I'll look at pretty. I don't do measurements because that takes a lot of time to do measurements. I do measurements on jewelry only because I sell a ton of the jewelry. But on clothing, I don't measure it unless they ask me, because And then they never buy it when you give them the measurements anyways. So I don't do measurements on jewelry, on clothing. I'll wipe down the shoes. I'll clean I'll untarnish the jewelry, and I will measure the jewelry. But other than that, I really, like my biggest cleaner is this. I just wipe things down with it. Shoes, jewelry, anything dusty. I'll even wipe down some clothing if it has, marks or whatever on it, see if it comes off. Most of the time it does. But I don't, I don't spend the time or the energy to do a lot of that. Like, I have, for jewelry and stuff, I have like earrings and ring holders. I have like a necklace holder too. For clothing, I have velvet excuse me, I have velvet hangers and pants hangers and shirt hangers. I don't use my mannequin anymore. I'll only use it if it's something that I can't get a stock photo that has to be on a mannequin. Like if you have like a wrap dress you just can't, you have to put it on a mannequin. It just, there's no way around it because it just sags, And I'm not a big use a stock photo type of person, but on those I would use a stock photo on. But if not, that's the only time I'll use a mannequin. And then if I think I have to use a mannequin, I just put it off into the death pile further along. So I don't have to do it. Take the next one in line. But I try not to do too much prep on things. I know the prices for lots of things, so that's not like a real big issue. I'm in the ballpark type of thing, and I'm always willing to go down on my prices. It's only if it's something I don't recognize, or if it's something that, like, I just got from Shop Goodwill. I picked this up.
Oh, that's cute.
It's absolutely gorgeous, and it is a fluorescence. Now I had to look this up. Now this is like a little briefcase. I need to put some leather cleaner on it because it does need it. And some nice little Doc Martin stuff. But this is a brand that I hadn't seen before. So
that out of the container
it's a really good brand. I've been trying to find, like, when I do go out sourcing, if I'm sourcing individual pieces versus like, because I buy a lot of like the fun boxes and the jewelry boxes from like ThredUp type of thing. I've been trying to find more unusual brands that are worth more. So I'm not trying to find like the Louis Vuitton. I'm trying to find this one that I can get $50 for, but it's not a brand that's well known. But yet, if you look at the sales, what's left is hardly anything compared to what's sold. So it's a good buy. What do they call it? Sales to sold ratio is well. It's good. So I've been trying to do that type of thing. So when I have been sourcing, I've been doing that. But then it gets in my death pile and just sits there. Which this person is going to sit there until I get the Doc Martens out, which is right now buried underneath a few things. That's my problem. I'm like, I have a small room and I have a lot of stuff. Now, before I had a ton of this stuff, I had plenty of room and it was easy to work. But when you get more stuff, it's harder to work. And I bought shelves to put right over my head, it would be in front of me this way, right here. So I could put things like the Doc Marten on, or like these like little bottles, which are the this is a 14 karat gold testing solution. Those type of things I could put on the shelves, and then I don't have to be like, well, I can't do it because it's it's buried. I mean, it's an excuse not to get my death pile down. And I gotta stop the excuses and just be like, put it together. So that's why I have bags down here. As I said, there's like, between 10 and 15 pieces in each bag of jewelry here that are ready to go. All I have to do is pick it up, put it on the counter here, and hang them on the little earring things or the necklace thing I have, or the rings or the, bracelet or whatever the case may be. Take the photos and get it listed. I find if I do this, and I spend the time doing this, I'm more likely
To
to
do it.
list something
Yeah.
than I am like any other way. If I have it ready and it's in my face, the other thing I find for me works is if I turn the light on. Like I made the effort to turn the light on. Now I need to get my ass over there and take the photos.
Yeah.
And it's not like I can't do it. And it's not like I don't mind doing it either. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where I really don't mind doing it. It's just doing it.
Yeah, right. That's for me, that's like a big one is like I will have like my whole plan out, and then part like if I'm doing stuff that's going to be making a lot of noise, like right now my box, my small box, like your small box, I have upstairs in on the kitchen table for doing shoes and jewelry and all of that stuff. And then my big box is downstairs. Well, if I'm wanting to do stuff upstairs and my son sleeps in until like 1:32 because he works from 4 to 1 in the morning. So it's kind of like I will wake up 9 or 10 and then I'll end up just being in bed, like, either relisting or stuff like that. So I feel like I'm being productive, but I'm not, again, setting myself up for the next push. So it's kind of like I feel like I'm lounging. Okay, do a bunch of stuff. Lounging, and I could get so much more done if I was just steady. And that's where my biggest thing that I'm looking for part of this brainstorming kind of thing from everybody is like, for me, go in there and make this whole plan. Here's the things I need to do. I'm going to do on these days. And then, like I said, one thing, I pulled a bunch of shoes up here and I'm finding like, I just kind of got screwed over by someone that these things were supposed to have been gone through. And there's stuff that I've had to cancel orders because all of my listed was supposed to be pulled out of these bins when it was being taken care, and it wasn't. So the good thing is now I'm like, okay, now I know where they are at least. But now I've got like 10 bins of shoes that I have to go through and pull all of the shoes that are already listed out and like actually have those in this room, which is also my listed shoe bin. Well, that's gonna stop me from taking new pictures, and that's where I've got to figure out a way that I'm actually going to follow through on doing that block scheduling.
Because I find if you block it out, like I'm a big write a list and then never do the list.
Yeah. Or I write a list and then something else comes up. I was like, well, can't do what I was gonna do.
I know. So I try lists. I write them very religiously. I'm like writing them out. I want to get this. I want to get that. And sorry, someone's calling me. And I write it religiously, but I just can't manage to get it listed. I just can't manage it. I just, I'm like, and the worst part is I work from home. It's not like I'm going, like I would have to leave at like 6:30 to make sure that I get there and at my desk by 8:00. Cause where I work, you don't park in the building. You have to pay to park, which is ridiculously priced. It's $120 a month. And, which is a problem. And then it's in, another hour and a half back plus my 8-hour day. And then it eats into my time. And, but I don't have that. I can roll out of bed at 7:00 and be at the computer by 7:00, not always dressed, but I'm there.
You're on the phone. You're
Yeah,
not
like
on.
today, I was in pajamas when you sent the link, and I was like, "Oh, oh!" Like literally throwing clothes around, brushing my hair, and I was like, "I'm here."
I actually took a shower.
I'm like, "Oh my god!" But there's no excuse. I just like
Yeah.
I do my work, but I have enough downtime. I can take a couple photographs in between.
Yeah.
So my only excuse is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the goddamn truth. I don't have an excuse. It's just it's very frustrating. So I gotta get my butt in gear and stop the excuses and just do it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, is like being able to say, instead of using the excuse, well, I was gonna work on shoes today and my son doesn't leave until 2, so I'm gonna wait until 2 before I get out of bed and do anything. Instead be okay, at I get up at 9, drink my water, write out a plan for the day, and go downstairs and do something with inventory, or do some pictures in the big box downstairs or something until he leaves, and then work on the stuff up here. I That's the main thing. It's like I know what I have to do. It's just getting it done. Like you said, it's that first step, especially like with my inventory room. When I get in there, I'll get in a zone. I worked the last 3 days. I've worked overnight. I've been going to sleep at like 6 in the morning. I've worked the entire night through because I get on a roll and I'm doing it. But if it gets, if I am prepping or getting ready by waiting till whatever time to go do that, stuff will happen. They'll be like, oh, well, at least I got some stuff listed. I'll work on it tomorrow. And
Yeah,
then
for me, I find that if it's clothing, take the photographs for 5 items, because I don't take a million photographs. I'm not the type that takes like 75 photographs. I'll take the front, the back, the label, the care, and maybe some identifying features about the outfit. Like if it's a print or something, I'll take,
yeah,
or some type of pleating or something. And then that's about it. I don't take a million photographs. So for me, for one item is like I can get photographs done for one item in 2 minutes.
yeah,
Probably even under that. So I can do 5, and then I sit down and I do the um the listings, and then I go back. I just have to get there. So, the problem is, and there's no excuse. There's just me just not doing it.
yeah, same. And then like my biggest one, like I said, my other than getting up and doing something, is that situation when it's like, okay, here was my plan for this week. Oh, great. Now I've just found out that I have a bunch of stuff that I need to go through all of these bins. And now I feel like I've sidetracked my entire week and I end up kind of not getting anything done.
Yes, I run across
So
that problem all the time.
that's where I was thinking, like, if I just do, because like one of the things that I'm on right now, with a group, like making sure that we're drinking our water and being mindful time, like you have a mindful time and stuff like that. So I wanted to use my mindful time in the morning to like make my plan for that day. And so that way, if I have a weekly goal, then every morning when I wake up, I can go, okay, this is what I still have left to do of that weekly goal, instead of trying to plan out the whole week ahead of time. Because if something comes up I'm able to add it to the next day and not feel like I've dumped my whole plan. And
So what about if your goal is 5 a day for 7 days
yeah,
for 35?
yeah.
So what if you do 35 in one day, say? Will you continue doing 5 a day after that, or do you just stop for the week?
Like as far as listing, no, I
Yes.
still want to list minimum 5 per day.
If you list more, it's all good. If you don't list more,
Yeah,
it's all fine
but
too.
the main thing is the consistency in the listing, because if that's where, like, if you take 35 photographs, then you're doing 5 a day. You haven't given yourself anything extra, because you still want to have a list, something happening every day in your account, because that's what gets you higher on the.
I seem to have no trouble getting on the list. As I said before,
But you're always active, I think.
I'm active, but I'm not always listing things. I may not list a couple days, but I think it's my personal
Yeah.
opinion is, as it's always been, is that people are searching for a very specific item, and if you have it, it's going to show on the list. I want a red pair of flats in a size 9. They're going to put in red pair of flats in a size 9, and there's only going to be an X number of those. It's not like it's a black pump. You know what I mean? Which, you look at black pump in a size 9, there's probably, 4,000 of them. But
Yeah.
a red flat in a size 9, there's probably maybe, 100 of them. And then people go by, least expensive, most expensive, or they'll do it by just listed, or, whatever. I like to do by just in, because you might get the best bargain that way if somebody just drops something. I think that's more, to me, I think that's how people shop versus what Poshmark is trying to push, which is you have to share, you have to share. So I think that I save more time and I could list more because I don't share like the average person. And I'm not big on the
But see,
community
I
share.
think the listing is what actually drive, because I've done it where I've listed, like, the only time that me listing a lot didn't result in sales is when they first did that changeover to the recommended.
Never
I
had a
got
problem.
no sales and I listed 125 things.
I never had any problems.
So, but I don't know. I think that part too
I
was
don't think
with
if you're selling
how
something
you list.
generic, yes. If you're
Right.
selling something specific, which is why I'm trying to get into more things that
Yeah.
are more, like they're
Unique.
still worth money, but they're not as common as, like Louis Vuitton. Yeah, Louis Vuitton's
Yeah.
worth a lot of money, but there's 600 other people trying to sell the same Louis Vuitton you are,
Right.
type of thing, versus if I'm selling a brand that's not as well known in general, but has a following, you're more
Right.
likely to sell it. So I've decided in that aspect when I purchase things now, like the Algeria, or what the hell these damn things are.
Allegra, I think, is
Oh yeah, Allegra. You think
yeah.
you think I would know? I sell enough of these. These have a following. They have a
Yeah.
huge following. So I know even beat up ones, I sold the worst pair. They were white, they were scuffed, and I even repolished them and made them look decent, but they were still, I mean, they were still obviously scuffed.
Yeah.
There was the Fred Flintstone on the back. The front rubber was scuffed from where they were hitting it. I still sold those things for $20.
Yeah.
And I got them for like, I think I got them at the bins ages ago. And I finally listed them as, even though they look like crap. And so they cost me probably like $1, and I still made, sold them for $20. But
Yeah.
so I'm trying to find things that are more like that. The same thing with jewelry. There's a lot of bolos on jewelry that people don't necessarily know, and trying to get into all that. And I've been doing good. But I need to get the death pile of things. And I actually, this, the rack that's, well, you can't see it now. I took it out of the thing, but the rack that's over there. I went through the rack and I was like, why am I even holding on to this? Just get rid of it. It's like $12. I don't have the patience right now for that.
Yeah.
So I packed it all up and I gave it back to not give it back, but it could have come from the Goodwill. But most of it did not come from the Goodwill. Most of it came from like thread up boxes.
Yeah.
because I don't have any control over a ThredUp box, what you get in it. It's, yeah, it's a great mystery, but it makes a really great death pile.
Yeah.
So I got rid of like, oh my God, like 5 boxes of stuff. Probably like 300 pieces. I was just done. So, and I had a big stack over here, which is building back up because I'm too lazy to do anything with it. And I hung it up here, and now that stuff I'm willing to list. All I have to do is pick it up and get it over to the big box. But right now the big box I can't get to because I got the small box in front of it. But see, my ultimate goal with this death pile is I have I have the rack right over here. I want to move my big box against the same wall as the rack and pull the rack closer to the door, and then have the small box be over here on my left. And this is my shipping stuff, and I want to move that into, because I'm in a bedroom, I want to move that into the closet. But I have to get rid of some of the stuff in order to shift everything around. There's just too much stuff right now.
Yeah.
So my goal is that. And so I keep reminding myself that when I don't list, I'm like, you want to move this stuff. You want to move this stuff. Because if I move this small box over here, which is to the left of me,
then I can boom right there.
Yeah, I mean, I had to roll a little bit, but it's not like I'm rolling across the room. We're talking like, a foot. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's like right now I literally swivel around, but I could literally just roll a foot over and do it. So that's what my goal is. And I got to keep that in mind. Like, you need to list in order to make that room free up so that you can then get to where you want it. Because I think once I get that free and can get it organized, I think I'll be happier with everything. Because when I first started, I was really good. I have a rolling rack, and I would have stuff on the rolling rack, but I would religiously like list everything, and next, and then the rolling rack would be empty, and then, which was great. And then, then I got into the ThredUp boxes, and of course, then you're shopping. When you first start shopping when you very first start shopping, you're at the Goodwill, and yeah, you recognize brands, but you're like, oh, well, that's a good brand, but yeah, that's an old lady brand like me, versus like when young and hip ones. So you don't buy necessarily, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the items you buy. They're like bread and butter stuff, but you don't always want bread and butter when you're going to spend $5 on an item. You want it to be something more than bread and butter. Bread and butter's fine if you're picking it up at the bins where it costs you 50 cents for the item, versus bringing it, buying it for $5 there. It makes a big difference. So of course I bought, when you first start, you don't know that, so I started, and now I have stuff that I'm like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great bread and butter brand, but it doesn't excite me. So a lot of the bread and butter brands I've been bringing to the local consignment shop, because that's what they like at the consignment shop. Mostly because I look like the youngest person there. It's terrible. But which is fine, because it's stuff that I have that I don't want to list that I can bring there. Like, they love getting like Chico's and Talbots and Ann Taylor and the Loft. Like, to them, that's like, woo, and I'm like, yeah, that's a bread and butter brand. I get like $12 for it. They're also great for taking my no-name jewelry. I'm like, here we go. Click. They're like, oh my God, how much do you have? A lot. But so that's my goal. I think it's a good goal to get the death pile down. What do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely a good plan. I'm just like, I want to do this so much, especially right now. It's just like, as I was going through those bins and the stuff that I'm pulling out, it's like, okay, this one box, just the good stuff that I pulled out, at least a couple $1,000.
Yeah, I know, but you got to get it listed now.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything as long as it's sitting there.
Yeah,
and it's just getting into the. Okay, here's the other part of that. It's like, as I'm going through them, it's like, oh, this is a really good thing. I want to list this. Oh, this is real, and then my really good stuff that I need to list first, is still a pile that high, so then you start going into that. So I think what I'm going to try and do, and kind of like what I started doing, is I put a little bag, like one of my IKEA bags, and it's like all the designer I'm putting in this, like, high end designer. I'm putting in this one bag, and I'm going to take that over and photograph that stuff first, just because that stuff's going to take a while to sell usually.
Correct.
So the faster I get it listed, the better, as far as knowing that that's the big money is already out there.
Yeah,
And
because that stuff takes forever to sell.
yeah. Well, some of it is faster stuff.
Well, it depends what you
Like,
price it at, too.
yeah. And I mean, like DVF, silk dresses, the ones that like have a really bright floral print in spring, summer, sell very fast. Wrap,
True.
like true wrap, the true wrap dresses,
Yes.
not the faux wrap dresses. Those, it doesn't matter what color or print they are. Those
No.
sell very quickly and for a lot of money. The faux wrap ones, those are usually more blue, brown, and black, because those are like really more kind of career wear.
Correct.
Those will take a while for you to get, that $60 to $80 for those. So I'm trying to, even though DVF is like one of my favorites, I am also trying to keep that in mind. So like I have this really pretty light, this is one of the DVFs I found, light, beautiful floral pattern, layered silk DVF dress. That immediately went into I need to get this listed right away, because it's coming up spring. It's a great floral print, it's great colors, and it's silk. So even though I'm probably going to price that around $90, it still should flip pretty quickly, at least at least $75, and I should be able to sell it within the month, just because that's one of those types of things, and we're coming into spring. So there is stuff that you can sell quickly for that cost a lot, but it is,
yeah, but it's like, as I said, like a
is,
Louis Vuitton or a Chanel bag.
Yeah.
They sit for a long time, because you want a lot of money, but so does everybody else, and there's a million of them on Poshmark, and you just have to wait, but unless you're willing to sell it for less.
Yeah.
In which case, you're bringing the price down for everyone else too.
Right. And yourself in the future. And that's one of the things too that I don't like to discount too much. And a lot of that is I try and price within reason of what the comps are, and not like overprice my stuff, overprice it, so that you're ending up getting like 50% off offers and stuff, because I think in a lot of ways that actually then makes your closet kind of look like she's not pricing at a reasonable rate, so she expects 50% offers. Well, that screws everybody else, because now you've got all these people that are pricing, and that's where I think the recommended situation for Poshmark is actually a better thing, because if you're using recommended, and they've also added this stuff now where they're basically advertising other people's listings on your listing now.
Yeah, I noticed that
down at the bottom. So that's going to make people start to bring their prices closer to what they actually want, which I think is going to help a lot more with that ridiculousness of overpricing to over discount.
I usually price and then keep in mind like a 30% discount.
Yeah. I mean, because like once a month, I will do a 30% discount, and that's usually just stuff that's been around for the most time. The rest of the time, I usually don't discount more than 15%.
I usually do 20. I usually but the whole idea is for me is to get the death pile down. So in order to make more
Right.
room, I need to, like I have a lot of stuff that's listed, but I don't have a lot of room to put new listed stuff because I need to get rid of the listed stuff too.
Yeah.
But I have been doing, for me, is condensing down bags and boxes and stuff. So I have less bags and boxes, and it makes me feel better because I don't look like a hoarder, which we know is, retailers, 90% of us are hoarders.
Yep.
I also don't allow my resale stuff to get too far into the living room. I sometimes it's like on the fringes of the living room, but it's not usually in the living room or the kitchen. It's not in the master bedroom. I have it in the spare bedroom. It's in the hallway, where the spare bedroom and my office or this resale room is. And then I have a shed, but I try not to let it take over the entire house, because my husband gives me dirty looks. So
Yeah, my
I'm
son can't say anything, so he's just all
well, you
laughing.
get lucky, but I'm trying to, I'm trying to list and at the same time trying to sell so that it's kind of even. So I think for most people the issue is that they get overwhelmed with so
Mm-hmm.
much stuff.
Yeah.
Um and each person works best their own way. You can take, ideas from other people. Like I like to do 5 at a time. Take the photographs, list, and so on. But because I can plow through more that way. You like to do a lot of photographs all at once.
Yeah.
So what works for everyone is different. I find that if you tell people who are truly overwhelmed, like they can't even walk in their house, the best thing to do is just to pick one bag or one box or one something, pick it up, walk it in, take the photographs of it, put it away, and then that's one less
But I
thing.
mean, that's what I'm actually trying to do, and that's part of that whole. I've been overwhelmed with. I have 3 racks of clothes, and then I've got bins everywhere. But like I had originally had my bins, I sorted spring, summer, fall, winter. Well, then I'm having to change setups as I'm going through the bin,
See, I don't list that way.
and
I don't.
so
Oh, is that
well,
stuff? Is that stuff you haven't listed or stuff you listed?
no, stuff that I hadn't listed
Oh,
yet.
haven't listed.
Well, for both, like for the stuff that hasn't been listed yet, when I originally did my sort, when I first started doing it, I was like, okay, this will be good. I'll put spring, summer stuff together and fall, winter stuff. Well, I wasn't thinking about the setup for photography. I was thinking of what's a good season. And that ends up making it actually take longer than just like what you're saying. Now I'm in my resort now, it's like all my dresses together, all my skirts together, pant, everything, any bin that I grab is going to be one type of thing that's going to be using the same setup. So boom, 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 I can get everything done. And I think that's going to help a lot. It's just making sure that I've gone through all those bins that I've had sitting there.
Yeah, see, for me, to me, that doesn't make sense for me. Like, it makes sense for you, but it doesn't, for me, it wouldn't make sense. I prefer to just take this one section and it's either smalls or large. Right now I'm doing smalls because I physically can't get to the big one back there because the small is in front of it. So I'm trying to do all the smalls now, and it could be jewelry. It could be like, oh my God, I got like, what are these? These are sunglasses. And
I got a pair of Quay sunglasses.
Yeah, that's what these are, Quay.
I was like, what?
Then I got this in a fun box.
Who is that? Is that Gun?
No, it says Waitrose. I have no clue.
That's not.
He has a paperclip on his thing. Yes, I know he has a paperclip because his little ribbon was falling forward, so I'm trying to hold it back so that when I take it off, it sits nice.
Just
I mean,
put
it's brand
a
new.
single stitch in there.
No, I was too lazy for that paper clip. I had to find right away. But I mean, like, I do little things like this, or I do, shoes, or I'll do a
Right.
small purse, or whatever the case may be, and then get on to the next. And like my clothing that are sitting over here, there's pants, there's shirts, there's dresses. I don't care. I just reach for it, put it up, take a picture, and go on to the next one.
But you're also just using the hanger, so you're not changing out your setup so much.
Right? Yeah. No,
You're just hanging the hanger.
no, I'm just hanging it. I can't bother with a mannequin, unless, as I said, unless it's an outfit that really needs a mannequin to show it off. I don't care. I
See,
don't.
for me, the main reason, well, I like the look better on the mannequin.
That's fine. I mean, I
But
used a mannequin for a
also,
while.
For me, it's like if I'm doing it on hanger, the way our boxes are set up, I had to like make something to come down to hook the hanger, and then you have to turn it around. Whereas on my mannequin, I have a turntable on the bottom. So after I shoot the front, I just spin my thing with my foot, and then I'm getting a front, a side, and a back.
Yeah, no, I can't.
And then change.
I don't care if you can see the top of the hanger with the little
same amount of time, I think.
I don't care. I don't care.
But that's because we're different.
I know. That's
like
how
we
I
said.
Yeah, like we said, I don't care. I'm like, hang it up. Don't care.
How are you hanging your hangers in there in your big box?
I'm using the center clip.
Thing? Huh?
I just hang on the center clip on the back wall. Mine sit right against the wall, and I just hang it on the clip on where the clip comes down. The part here, I just hook it in and take a picture. I don't care.
Because I was getting like when I tried to put stuff like originally on the hanger on the back wall, I would get like a hard shadow.
Don't care.
So yeah.
I don't. My goal is to make the money. I'm not going to spend all my time trying to, make money and spend 30 minutes just taking photographs. As we know, we have friends that we have in our group who take like 30 minutes to do one listing. I'm like, I'm like, no, it doesn't have to be perfect photos. I don't care about the shadows. I just want it listed, and I sell just fine.
Yeah.
I'm like the anti reseller of the group. I don't share. I don't care.
Reseller. It's just you also like you're not. I don't think you end up with as much stuff that needs work as a lot of us do. You don't really have a project pile.
I have a project pile.
Piles.
Oh, believe me, I have a project pile, but it's not a huge pile because I try to be selective on what I get. And as I said, my biggest issues is, when I do like the 25 mixed piece clothing from ThredUp, I don't have, a choice of what it comes in. It comes in. My last one, my only decent thing was a Lululemon jacket. Everything else was like either crap or bread and butter. So now I have to decide what I'm keeping, what I'm getting rid of. I think I'm only going to list 6 pieces, and another 3 are going to the consignment shop, and the rest of it I sent to Goodwill.
Oh, wow.
I was like, gone, less. So, and the same thing, like I have a lot of men's boxes that I buy from them too, but I'm trying to buy less of those and more of like the jewelry boxes or the fun boxes, because I can give a lot of that stuff as gifts if I have to.
Yeah, but you've moved more into the auctions, especially because you're doing a lot more jewelry, so you can actually know ahead of time what you're getting.
Right. So I do auctions not only on Shop Goodwill, but I also do them on High Bid. So I do both, and I can pick and choose what I want. So, which is why I'm having less. I mean, I'd love to go back to the bins, but with my health issues, probably not the best choice right now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, COVID cases are down, but I'm not taking that chance. I don't need to have COVID. I just don't. So I have plenty to list. That's why I've been doing a lot of jewelry. I've been selling a lot of jewelry. Um, a lot of smalls, a lot of shoes, because I love my shoes. It's like the only thing I'm willing to clean. And even then I'm like, oh no, that's a little much. Um, but I think that with my death pile, I if I can get the clothing down and under control. So my ultimate goal is try to get everything up off the floor. I mean, I have boxes. It's not like they're just laying randomly on the floor. Well, there are some pieces. There are probably some pieces just randomly laying on the floor, but most of them are in boxes, right?
Yeah.
Of some sort. I want to get all that off the floor and either have them on the racks on one side of me or on the shelves on the other side of me. And at that point, then I can rearrange everything in here. And I think I'm going to go forward with less clothing right now, with the exception of probably shoes, because I love my shoes. But do more like accessories, bags and jewelry, at least for a little while, because they take up less space.
Yeah. And a
I
lot
think,
of times they have better margin.
oh, well, there is that too. So I think I'm going to do that for a while after I get the bulk of my death pile down, and then be able to see what I have. Like I have bins over here that they're very nicely labeled. It says accessories, shoes, glassware. It's all labeled. Can't get to them. So that's the ultimate. So I want to be able to keep only have my death pile, because I want to keep somewhat of a death pile. I don't want to be completely wiped out, because you don't know if the pandemic's going to come back. You've got Putin and his Ukraine issue. So I want to have still something to fall back on. But I don't want it to be on the floor anymore. I want everything to be hung up. Like I have a huge Z rack, one of those big like professional Z racks I have that holds like 700,000 pounds, and I want to have the clothing only on that and not have it in boxes, with the exception of like probably I'll have like a bin or two of shoes, but those I want to put on the shelf.
Yeah.
So that type of thing. And then if something comes in, I'm going to put that to the back and do items about the death pile and kind of keep the rotation in. But I don't, I got a long way to go, and in truth, I need someone to ride my back, and that's what.
And that's what's good about having these groups like Death Pile, Destruction, Facebook group, and then like I don't know if it's going past this month, but like I did a challenge for February that it seems like we're kind of rolling over into March as well, called Death to the Death Pile. It's kind of like how we met, because that's the other thing too, is I mean, have we been friends like 2 years?
I know.
Because we started in a little chat group of the slackers in a Becky Park listing challenge. And that's a great way to build these posh friends forever, is by getting into one of those challenges, and then having like, even if it's a small group, like we've only got like 4 of us, because I insulted one that left. The troublemaker.
Oh, well, whatever.
I don't even remember her name, but by having that little core group too, we've now been pushing each other for 2 years.
Yeah.
From a challenge that was 2 years ago, and I don't even think Becky Park's done that challenge again since
I don't think she has.
Yeah, so she used to do it like every year, and then she hasn't done it since then. So it was really nice that we built this little chat group too. And then with like the February challenge, the Death to the Death Pile, that the same kind of situation happened, where it was like you can be part of this Instagram challenge, but if you wanted, you could also join the group chat. And so I'm not as good at staying in, and that's, you know, a big thing too for me is if I'm paying attention or sending my, because you know I got to write a book. I can't just write a post. I got to write a book.
Yes, you do.
If I limit myself to like, okay, I'm gonna spend an hour during my morning wrap start off, that's my social media, and then at the end of the day, after I've gotten all my stuff done for that day, that helps me because when I try and take photos and I'm actually paying attention to the dings,
Oh, you get nothing done.
I nothing. It's ridiculous. Like that one day, remember that day when I was like totally off the grid because my internet was down. I got the most photographing I've ever. I think I did like 200 pairs of jeans that day because I had no internet. So
Yeah,
I was just taking pictures, you know. And so now sometimes I wish for my internet to go down because I know I'll be productive.
Oh, I get it.
So now instead of wishing for my internet to go down, it's that I got to set my goals daily because I know if I try and go for even a week ahead of time, something will happen to me that will kick me off of my schedule. And once I'm off my schedule, then it's just kind of like everything goes to the wind. So that's where hopefully this is gonna work. I took out my new little booklet planner thing today, and I took the time this morning to write out my goals for this week, just for this week. Not that's the other thing I do, and you know it from my books. It's like I have this thing where I have an idea in my mind of kind of where I'm going, but as I talk about it, it gets more and more of, well, I've got to do this to this to this to this, and then I just start going off the deep end of I'm going to
instead of I'm doing.
Right, instead of this is what I'm doing. And I'll worry about everything else.
Well, that's why I do like 5 photographs and 5 listings, because then I can be like, and I can do that while I'm working because I can take the photographs, takes me 2 minutes, and then I can go to my computer and I can look and be like, okay, I got to answer these emails, da, 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 da. And I can list those 5 items, look at my email, da, 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 because it takes me like, you know, once again, it takes me like 2 minutes to photograph it's less than 2 minutes, but 2 minutes to photograph the item, 2 minutes to list the item. And if I have to do measurements or if I have to look them up to see what they could possibly be worth if I don't know offhand, that's like another, you know, like another minute or so. So I can list one every 5 minutes while I'm working type of thing. I can usually get approximately one. So I can probably get like, I usually try to do like 10 an hour if I'm like in the zone type of thing. But, you know, inevitably my husband come in and like, hi, you know, what about this? And, you know, or the cat comes in and is like, wow, I want lunch. Wow. Like, and then as soon as you get up and you get distracted, you're like, you come back and you're like, oh, a new video. Let's watch that for a minute. It's only a 5-minute video. Next thing you know, it's a 5-minute video. Then there's another 5-minute video. Then there's another and another. And, you know, next thing you know, 3 hours have gone by and you haven't listened to anything.
Yeah. And you don't even know how it went by.
No.
You know, it was like, if I'm actually in the zone getting stuff done, I'll look up and think, you know, like, okay, 12 hours must have gone by because I've gotten so much done. And it's like been an hour and a half, you know, because
well, that's the thing.
Going.
As soon as I get interrupted, and I get, you know, you live with somebody, you get interrupted. It's, you know, you have a dog, you have to let the dog out, you know, like, so I try to keep it down to 5. If I can get 5 things, 5 photographs done, like one shot, 5 photographs, you know, which to me is like, it's like 10 minutes to take all those 5 photographs, like ding, 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 ding. I take them, they're done, they're on my phone. And then answer whatever I need to answer, and then I immediately get back to listing those 5, and then they're done. See, I don't do drafts like you do. I don't do drafts. To me, they don't make sense.
Well, I'm not really doing drafts anymore. Like, it gets called drafts sometimes, but I don't actually. Basically, I'll take my pictures and then.
Are you putting them in drafts, the pictures?
No, I usually I take the pictures on my iPad, and then when I'm ready to, because here's my main thing. Like, I'll take pictures, and then the pictures will be on the iPad, and when I'm ready to list, I'll pull up my iPad, I'll put the pictures in
Okay,
for
so
what I'm going to do that
doing true
day,
drafts.
and then I go on to, well, because I do, the only reason why I have to draft is just because I have to move the pictures off of my iPad into the Vendu.
Yeah, because you do it through Vendu, and I don't do that.
And
Yeah.
then I can go on my computer and I type everything up on my computer.
Yeah, no,
So
but
it's
that
all
type of thing.
in one thing.
But there are people who take the photographs, put them in a draft, take photographs, put them in. I'm like, why don't you just finish it? It's only another minute or so.
Right. And that's, yeah, I don't do that. The only
To me, that makes no sense.
Yeah, the only time I was doing that was when I was doing measurements as I photographed, and that just didn't flow well for me.
I have this pad. If I want measurements, I write it on a pad.
Yeah, no, what I do now is I don't even do that. I take all my photographs. I just, as I'm taking the photographs, I'm like throwing, now I have multiple of the IKEA bags. So like, that's only like if I'm doing multiple types of things. For the most part, like I said, I'm trying to just do one category at a time. So I'll have my bin or my bag of stuff that I'm going to photograph. I take my photographs, I put it in the bag, and then either I'll go have lunch and then come back and do my measurements and put the stuff in bags and then take it over to the listing room. So I then, and like with shoes, I write everything out. I have like little stickers, like sell tags. So I actually do like any of the hill heights and stuff like that, or purses. I also put the measurements onto that tag. So then when I take my pictures, I take a picture of that tag and it's got all my measurements and everything that I've done and my what it is. And that's because when I pull out a bin of shoes or purses, I immediately, the first thing I do is I go through and I sort items that I'm going to, for shoes. If the shoes are going to sell for more than $30 a pair, they go into one of my shipping bags.
Right. I see like
that. And then if it's for bags, they got to sell for over $50. This way, right away, that's also protecting my more expensive items. And at that moment is when I do, let's see which way it is. I do my little tag with my size on it and everything. And then that way, I also use like color marker on the edge here. So for shoe sizes and for the bag, like I have it broken up by like types or brands on bags. I can see from across the room, you know, all of my size 5s are up there, you know, then my 6, 7. And that's actually changed my process for taking pictures of the shoes, because I just had these huge bins of shoes that I put in all the bags if they're going to be over $30. Well, they're all different sizes and stuff. So when I was bringing them in here, well, I need to know how much of each size I have so everything fits over there onto my wall of shoe racks. So what I'm doing now is go through, put them in a bag, put measurements on the thing, and then I'm sorting them out into bins by size instead of type. So like not boots and tennis shoes and heels like I was doing before. Now it's based on size. So that way I can pull a bin of size 5s, go through photograph all of those, and then come in here, boom, all my size 5s. I know exactly how much room they're going to take in the shoe rack. Okay, now I can pull my size 6s, photograph all
Yes,
those.
yeah, I don't do that.
And then that way I know I can walk in this room and I know based on what all I need to do right away is know the size of the shoe. And so I know which section to go to, and now I need to know the name. And then I can look through real quick and know the name.
See, I don't do that. I'm too lazy.
It makes it's making it so much easier for me to find stuff. And then
I just write bin 1, bin 2, bin 3, whatever.
Yeah, well, because right now everything I'm filling in, I have that whole wall right there it's like, so it's 2 11 layer high shoe racks, like long ones, and then I have another shoe rack back here that's also 11 or 12 racks high. So once all of these are full, then I'll start putting shoes that are listed also in bins. But I'm hoping that I'm flipping stuff fast,
so you don't have to do that,
that I'm able to keep rotating everything off these shelves. And then for my purses, I have I don't know if you can see it, like the totes. I have the big totes on the shelves, and then each tote is like one tote's Dooney and Burke. So like all my Dooney and Burke that fit in that go in there. Mm-hmm. Then I've got Kate Spade. Then I've got vintage, and all like that. So that way I can just go through. I can do a big stack of purses, photograph all those, photograph the little tag that I did as I was setting it up, throw them in their bins, and then I can go and list them, and I know where they are. And
as long as it works for you.
So you have to figure out what works for you.
Correct.
And that's the biggest thing is I saw, and it adapts too, because I knew coming in that I needed to be by category. Because when I would see people and they're just throwing stuff in whatever bin has room, I was like, oh, hell no.
I do. I throw whatever bin has room.
I'm like, there is no way my brain would be
however it works for you. Look what time it is. We've been on for almost an hour and a half.
Yeah. So we'll wrap up. We'll talk again.
Of course we will.
Of course. And actually, so like what we're going to do is every Sunday night, 8:00, we'll be doing a little chat. The only people that right now we're inviting to be part of the panel is people that are in Death Pile Destruction Facebook group. Duncan is his name. I think that's the leader of that.
I thought it was a nurse flipper.
The nurse, no, is she?
I think she
I don't know. I know Duncan's in charge of it somehow because
he's one of the admins, I think.
Yeah, that must be it. But the nurse flipper's the one that started the Death to the Death Pile challenge.
Yeah, she did.
So she's the one running that. I was starting to wonder if they were from the same group or not. But oh no, Org with Morg is the one that's doing the Death to the Death Pile challenge. So it's a different group. I thought it was Nurse Flipper, but it's not. So if you want to join that, get on there. It's a really great group. Everybody supports each other. And we want people talking. That's like the most important thing. I don't want to spend 45 minutes of an hour saying, hi, welcome, nice to see you. I want to spend the time actually us talking and discussing and having real conversations about stuff that'll help each other and everybody else that
Mhm.
does decide to watch later on. So thank you,
You're
Barbara, for
welcome.
always being standing by, ready to
I know.
jump in.
Can't get anybody else. Get Barbara.
Don't say that. You're supposed to be my first anyway. I was waiting for you to get a new
Yeah,
laptop.
but you still haven't forgiven me for the listing challenge that I kicked butt on. Remember that listing challenge we did in a week? And
Yeah, I wasn't mad at you.
everybody else was like, you beat me in what I did.
No, I thought it was awesome. You're like you're literally the one, oh, like other people that had taken the challenge and not done. Okay, yeah.
I was the one
Maybe, but
that made your
no.
challenge. I finished it.
Yeah, you did like 75 that week, I think.
Yeah, I did a lot.
I
I did
think
a
you
lot.
listed 75 things that week. So it was, and I think it was mostly jewelry. I think that's why you got it so fast.
Yeah, I'm telling you, jewelry's quick.
Yeah. So, but that, and like you're saying, separating your boxes, I think that definitely is going to help you too, because that's where I'm, when I had the two boxes, I would end up folding up my small box and putting it up against the wall downstairs. So it it was like a pain because I got to drag it out, or I would end up sitting and laying on the ground to take pictures in the bottom of my big box. Well,
I've done that.
That kills my back. So by moving that box up here, I have a like really high kitchen table. So I can stand, I can sit on or kind of lean on my high chairs while I take the pictures. So it works out a lot better, if I'm not having a good day where I'm not going to be able to go up and downstairs and all that. I should not have an excuse. I should not have an excuse. Shaking myself. Should not have an excuse for not going in the kitchen and taking.
I'm telling you, I just, I do have to move it so I can get access to my big one, but I can do a lot because I literally just spin around.
Yeah. So it'll be good. We'll get it done. So I'm just calling it 35 a week, but minimum at least 5 per day. I'm not going to try and do 35 in one day and then not do anything the rest of the week.
Because then you're defeating the purpose.
Right, exactly. So
you need to get into a rhythm.
Yeah, definitely. Consistency is always, the biggest key, I think, to any of it. But I was really proud of myself, even though I feel like I kind of didn't get done what I wanted to get done. I still went I think I had like 800 and something the end of January, and now I'm back up to 1,120. So I think I did pretty good for February. My sales are starting to increase again, and I think that's going to keep going the more I do. And by focusing on this, having a plan generalized, so every day I can get up and go, okay, I can do these 3 things today, and I'm not setting myself up for failure. I think that's going to help me get more stuff done, hopefully, because I have so much stuff to get done.
All right.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Everybody have a great night. If you watch, leave a message. And if you want to join us next week, it will be again Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Bye. Bye. Thanks, Barbara.
Yep.